Klaatu, Barada, Nikto. It's time for Science! Welcome to SciFriday on SkyWatch TV. I'm Derek Gilbert. Next to me are science editor and my best friend, my wife, Sharon K. Gilbert.
Hi, honey.
Sweetheart.
How are you? That's one of my favorite movies.
It is. It is disturbing.
Michael Rennie. Ooh.
Yeah, well done. The 50s version better than the remake a few years ago.
Patricia Neal, I think, was the female lead.
I think you're right.
Yep.
And of course, Gort the robot.
Oh, yeah.
But much better than the remake with Keanu Reeves.
And you know what? Gort the robot sort of takes us over to, we'll just ignore Keanu Reeves. That remake, he's really good in many movies, but that remake just was, no, the original is what you want to see.
Right.
There's a short film online that is garnering all sorts of praise because it's beautifully done.
Yes.
But what I don't see in the articles about it, it's like they're praising the technology, you know, the editing and the masterful writing and the acting, all of that.
Even the music behind it, the production values.
Message, especially as a Christian watching this message. It's a movie called iMom.
Introducing the cutting edge in lifestyle technology, a game changer in childcare, and a true revolution in the way we raise our kids. It's the iMom.
How would I describe the iMom?
Operating via state-of-the-art motion sensor technology and built on over 3 decades of robotic intelligence, the iMom is the world's first fully functioning mother substitute.
Raising kids is not a walk in the park. It's more like a marathon.
Through hell.
The iMom is like my personal trainer for being a mom. I mean, being a young mom, there's no way I'm gonna stop petting the clouds. Sorry.
Disturbing. It's similar in some ways to the series that we watched this past year, Humans, in which the presence of very human-like cyborgs are an everyday occurrence. They're part of everyday life.
Yeah.
The iMom is a short film that kind of takes that idea even further, but then superimposes it in a Christian framework.
Yeah, I don't know if the film developers or the producer, director, if they are Christians at all, but they're definitely making a biblical statement.
Yes, they are. And that is what's really compelling about this, especially the line that the iMom featured in the film uses toward the end. We won't spoil it for you, but we'll put a link in the show notes at skywatchtv.com to this film because we think it's worth watching. It'll take 13 minutes of your time, and it's worth seeing because it really encapsulates much of what we're saying about the transhumanist movement.
It really does, and please, you need to watch this. It is so worth it. Even with our low data cap at home,
yes.
I got up in the middle of the night. I was, okay, I'll watch this. So I was able to stream it, and it's so worth it. In fact, may download this so we can actually watch it on our Blu-ray.
Right, because it's available at Vimeo, so you can download it and then save it and watch it offline and show it to your friends.
It's disturbing.
Yeah.
And again, you've probably, if you're my age, you've probably seen the Twilight Zone episode, which is based on the short story I Sing the Body Electric.
Right, by Ray Bradbury.
Yes, which is, he was quite a writer.
Yes.
And wonderful imagination, but his take on a cyborg, you know, be brought into your home and raise your kids. This was a wonderful, self-sacrificing individual.
Right.
Not this one.
No.
Not so much.
No, and that was part of the movie or the series Humans, that some of the cyborgs had decided that they didn't want to be subservient to humans anymore.
Well, the TV show Humans, I thought, was really good because it didn't assume that it was cookie cutter technology that you're going to have. If you have beings that can become self-aware, they will be individual. And autonomous. Yeah. So this is very well done, and it does make a statement. And on a couple of things, it also talks about how selfish we humans have become. And that is our natural tendency, which is, what we humans call, Christians call sin. Our worldview does encompass and explain this very, very readily. And the ending builds upon that idea.
Right. Highly recommended. iMom, short film, link, show notes.
Trust me, you want to see it. You know, with that in mind, there's another story that came out that I saw just this morning, and it's all about Google and Facebook. You know, we've talked a number of times on our podcast, but also on here, I think we've mentioned the huge data farms that are developing, popping up all over the place, because there's so much. When you get to the Internet of Things, there's enough stuff on the Internet, but you get to the Internet of things,
Right.
everything in the world, every material thing being connected to the internet and to each other, you've got to have a massive place to store all that data.
Exactly.
Well, when they built the Google complex, it was so complicated that they had to build their own hardware. So they created their own hardware, their own software, and they had all of that done overseas. It was a very top secret operation. Well, not secret anymore. They're making it open source.
Open source, so
Well,
others
what could
can
be
copy.
wrong about that?
Well, open source is that's great because it means then everyone can benefit from the shared knowledge, the noosphere.
Yes. That
But-
means you can connect to us now more easily.
Right.
If you can, if they're releasing how they designed this hardware and also making this software open source, which a lot of the IoT stuff is,
Right.
then it means that it will be easier for an AI to connect to everything.
Yeah. And this relates to something we discussed last week, talking about Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, the Jesuit priest who, by the way, I just saw another article about him just this week, praising him as a visionary who was ahead of his time, the father of the internet, the father of the social network.
Well, if you and I weren't Christians, we'd probably think
We
that
probably
too.
would too, right. But we see the appeal in technology
Yeah.
because both of us are nerds.
Yeah.
And we love technology, but we can also see how it is dehumanizing us, which is the point of the iMom short film, or one of the points. But yes, as we see the drive to interconnect every aspect of our lives through the Internet of Things, through wearables, through our appliances being interconnected, our vehicles being interconnected, driverless vehicles taking us everywhere we need to go. There does need to be a quantum level increase in the amount of communication that's taking place. New standards are being developed for Wi-Fi to eliminate dead spots. The last thing you want is for your driverless car to go drive into a dead zone like you get on cell phones all the time, and suddenly it doesn't know where to go.
Chesapeake Bay Bridge. It's a long bridge
That's right.
in the middle of it.
My
Oh,
mother
sorry,
tells
lost
a
my
story,
connection.
yes, about her. She is not internet connected, so she doesn't update her GPS device in her car. And it tried to make her turn off the Chesapeake Bay Bridge halfway across. So, but things like
Turn
that.
here.
Yeah.
Turn here.
You've reached your final destination. That, I think, is part of this. And again, I don't have any proof. It's just a sense I have that this drive to interconnect everything is part of an effort to create the noosphere.
Yeah.
So that we will then force the universe to wake up, and we can then we'll be avatars living in some cosmic mainframe.
There are some who say we are now.
I know.
No, that isn't true. We're not in that. We're created by the Lord God
Yes.
Almighty.
But yeah, you're right. This is interesting that they've open sourced it now so that the designs can be duplicated and replicated. And you're right. It is very likely that it would
really
also
is.
increase the odds
They
that these
spent
new.
a lot of money to do this.
Yeah. And for a while, Google considered, until just recently anyway, considered the design for their data farms to be a competitive advantage over their rivals. But if they are now opening this up to the world, it does increase the possibility that it will, that they will be interconnected someday and perhaps serve as a substrate for an artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
There's a wonderful fictional look at this that we recommend. I've been trying to get in touch with the author for an interview and haven't connected yet, but it's called Avogadro Corp, a novel
that
by an author
is
named
so
William
good.
Hertling, Hertling. If you want a fictional look by somebody who is in the tech field and can create or describe a very plausible scenario in how this might actually come to be, Avogadro Corp by William Hertling. Take a look at it, because again, it's not coming from a Christian perspective, but it is from somebody who's an
insider in the tech field.
in the tech field, right?
Exactly.
And just to give you an idea of who he's referring to in the novel, Avogadro refers to Avogadro's number. Google, of course, is a number that refers to a one with lots of zeros behind it. So
exactly.
kind of thinly veiled reference.
You think?
Yeah.
Well, Google, we're also talking about Facebook, who also is releasing their information from their data farms, and they're all, let's share. Let's be friends. I recently read a book that talks about the curation that takes place when we're on social media. In other words, someone's deciding what you should see. That's what a curator does. Curator of a museum goes through and says, we're going to show the public this because this is what they should see.
This
Maybe
is
not
what they want to
but
see.
Yeah,
Well, tell us what they want.
We're going to decide what, yeah, exactly. Well, social media does the same thing. They have algorithms that go through and they theoretically take a look at our likes and things that we tend to look at. They also, Facebook actually has algorithms that follow you all over the internet. And if you're on your phone, they're probably getting every other app you've got on there. And what's he looking at today on it?
Right,
Oh, he likes ponies and dachshunds. Let's show him more dachshunds. Well, Google does the same thing too, but recently Facebook rolled out a new emoji reaction possibility. No longer just like. Now you can roll over and pick an emoji.
Right.
You can say, oh, that makes me cry, or makes me really laugh.
Makes me angry. Yeah.
They're learning more about you. I totally ignore those things. I'm not giving them the satisfaction of showing them I choose this emoji.
Yeah, it is all about gathering data and trying to create an artificial intelligence that can more accurately emulate the human brain.
That also, I think that there are probably studies taking place regarding group dynamics in social media. If you see a lot of your friends have given this emoji, will you choose the same one or will you buck the trend?
That's a really good point. In fact, we speculated before that some of those online games, those free games, are for the same purpose.
Oh, sure they are. Also the online, if you're one of the, and I've got a lot of friends who do this, there are these online surveys that you take. Which, Partridge family member are you? That kind of stuff. And you go in, and the fact is, most of these probably have the same or one of several answers. It's sort of like having one of those magic 8 balls. Magic 8 ball, will he love me? Will I go to the prom? Maybe is the answer.
Yes.
Well, these are like that, but they are gathering all sorts of data.
Right.
These are second and third party companies that go through and they want to choose what ads to show you. If they can learn all about you through your volunteering information, just so you can put on your Facebook wall, I'm this particular Partridge family. Oh, look, I'm Shirley Jones.
And in fact, I've seen studies that have been done by researchers on group responses to certain game elements. They will change elements within a game that is available for free and see how people respond to it. They're testing how we respond as a group. Is this person going to be self-sacrificing in this game and give up whatever, quatloos to help somebody else gain, power or whatever. Yes, it's all about collecting data and then running it through these artificial intelligences.
And also, what can we offer you that you'll actually spend your real money on?
Right, exactly. Well, clearly there's a financial motive there too.
Sure,
I mean, they've got to pay the bills just like everybody else. But I think there's a deeper motive here.
Yeah.
We have talked with researchers in the cognitive sciences who say that we really don't know how the human brain works, and researchers in artificial intelligence who say we don't know how these neural networks that we're creating to emulate the human brain work. We know that we put input in, we know that we get output out, but what goes on inside the black box is still a mystery.
Oh, yeah.
And they're trying to figure out how to emulate it through trial and error. Lots of data in, observe the output, jigger things around, tweak the data, and then see what happens. I think it is about creating the noosphere, or creating the artificial reality into which they believe someday we can upload. They're trying to create the matrix.
They are. They're trying to create the matrix, but at the same time, I think they're trying to create silence. If we can figure out a way to artificially build the equivalent of a human being, that human being can be whatever we want it to. That human being is not going to necessarily have a soul or want to love God, but we can design it to hate a certain people group, have no problem about killing a certain people group. It's really, ultimately, these things go to military application.
No conscience, right. And the story this week, which I talked about yesterday on the Daily Update, the DARPA research project into which they're pouring hundreds of millions of dollars to try to develop an interface a chip that could be implanted in the brain to directly interface with computers.
Yes.
And this was really funny because the official report, not the official report, but the news account published by CNN very blandly said, some observers feel this could be used for military applications, but a DARPA spokesman said it is not intended for military applications. I mean, come on, that's what DARPA does. Of course it is for
Advanced Research Projects Agency.
anything DARPA is involved in has military applications. So that's the dark side of this research.
Yes.
Clearly there are some potential medical benefits.
Sure there are.
Injured soldiers, cognitive handicaps that result from head trauma. If you could develop a way to restore cognitive function to a wounded soldier, by all means, do it. But always remember, anything DARPA is involved in has a military application first and foremost. That is what they're all about, enhanced human operations. That's why we were so concerned about the robotics challenge that DARPA was running. And Google bought the companies that had the 2 leading contenders to win the challenge.
Yeah,
Now,
Boston
what is
Dynamics
Boston Dynamics, and then Shaft, the Japanese company.
yeah.
Talking about Shaft.
I can dig it.
Shut your mouth. So, what does a search
People are
engine
just
company
tuned out. They're just,
Yes.
I can't take
oh,
that
this is too
anymore.
much. What does Google need? And Google's name isn't even Google anymore. It's Alphabet.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Alphabet. What do they need robotics companies for? Why do they need these proto-terminators for in the first place?
Yeah.
That were designed to win the DARPA challenge,
Yeah.
not for military application.
Because they want to vacuum in their floors.
They might as well.
Atlas the robot vacuuming. I don't know.
It's like that scene from Mars Attacks where the Martians are running around saying, "Do not run, we are your friends." The robots, "Do not worry, we are not for military applications."
Oh, gosh.
Oh boy. Well, yeah, the world is changing in a hurry because the technology is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Not every cognitive scientist believes this can.
No, not at all.
Is going to
not
happen.
At all. But the truth is that if you watch iMom, you'll understand where we're going with this. The truth is we are living in a world that's at war. There is a spiritual battle taking place all around us, and we're on that field whether we like it or not.
Exactly. And the enemy doesn't care what we believe as long as it is not the truth, which of course is Jesus Christ,
Amen.
the way, the truth, and the life. Anything else, hey, believe that heaven is on a silicon chip, that's fine. Believe that heaven is, through some being that's being channeled by some mystic in South America who's taking magic mushrooms, great. Don't care. As long as you don't believe that one thing that's true, the enemy doesn't care what we believe.
No, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Well, a little bit of a left turn, leaving technology behind, but talking about our world and the way we are being shaped by, frankly, greed. I mean, there are companies out there that want to find ways to make sure you're taking this pill every day for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
There was a story that was just published, and researchers in the UK have found that way more children who are actually ADHD are being diagnosed as ADHD. And the problem, they think, lies in the age. Okay, think about this. When I started school when I was really young, I was in the first grade and I was 5.
Yeah.
And it just happened to be because of when my birthday fell. But I was the youngest in my class every year. I think there may have been one other person that was about the same age that I was. But if I I was less mature, way less mature in many ways, if you just go age-wise, than the rest of the people in class. If you have a child who is less mature, especially when you're looking at preschool, the teacher will think, and many times the teachers are the ones making these first-line decisions. Well, little Johnny isn't keeping up. He's a little more outgoing, a little less. He can't pay attention. He's not reading now. He's behind everybody else. Let's put him on Ritalin or whatever else is going around. This is ridiculous. And I understand that teachers have a really tough problem.
Sure.
Really tough job. And when you've got 30, 35 kids to take care of, it can be really disruptive when you've got 1 or 2 kids who just aren't, going along with the assignment for the day. But maybe we need to take another look at how we put kids together in grades.
Yeah, because you've got children who are, can be almost a full year younger
exactly.
than other students in the same grade.
Yeah, I was almost a full year younger than
See,
a lot
now
of
I
us.
was always like the oldest one in my class
Yeah.
based on when my birthday falls. But I see the study that you're talking about from the Telegraph in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Prescriptions for drugs like Ritalin have doubled over the last 10 years in Britain. But a study of 400,000 children, that is a large sample,
Yes.
between the ages of 4 and 17 in Taiwan, showed that the percentage of youngsters diagnosed with ADHD changes depending on the month of their birth.
Exactly.
2.8% of boys born in September, but 4.5% in August, because the August boys will be the youngest ones in their class,
Exactly.
where the September boys are the oldest ones for the new grade.
I know that is, if that seems counterintuitive, it probably is just depending on when their school starts.
Sure, it's that when their year starts.
Yeah. My birthday is in October, and like I said, for whatever reason, I got in first grade at 5.
Yeah.
Everybody else was 6.
Yeah,
or older.
I turned 6
Some-
during my kindergarten year.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And that certainly would explain things. And teachers, again, they've got a rough task, but they have also been encouraged in recent years to look at behavioral difficulties,
Yeah.
behavioral challenges as things that require medication. That's a really good catch on that story.
Well, thanks,
And
honey.
that is
And
disturbing.
along with that, here's one, and we'll go out with it. Well, actually, there's another one I want to go out with, but it has to do with your kids and what they're eating. I mean, if teachers and your pediatrician are saying your child has to be on a drug, that's something that you need to be involved in, but you may feel like you don't have a whole lot of say-so in that. You've got a major say-so in what they eat.
Sure, absolutely.
The American diet primarily consists of not processed foods, ultra-processed foods.
More than half of all calories consumed come from ultra-processed foods, which leads to complications like obesity and heart disease. Okay.
There are major issues with health. Kids that have type 2 diabetes, way too many kids. That should never happen to a kid. Never. Type 2 diabetes is traditionally in an adult.
Yeah.
An older adult, in fact. You can change your child. And sometimes what the child is eating also affects whether or not he or she is diagnosed
Sure.
with ADHD.
Right.
So take a look at what you're eating. I have shared with my friends on Facebook a number of times the fact that over the last 5 months or so, I've lost 57 pounds now. 58 as of this morning, actually. So I am feeling tons better. My back, my knees, my feet are much happier, but the cells in my body are actually getting better nutrition now. It wasn't that I was eating a lot of ultra-processed foods, because we love to cook at our house.
Sure.
We were putting sauces on a lot of things and eating way too many, well, what I'll just say are simple
Simple
starches.
carbs,
Yeah,
yeah.
simple carbs. We have gone to, when we do carbs, they are very complex carbs. We actually bake our own bread at home, make our own yogurt now, and the only sugar I ever consume is raw honey. So, and lots of fruits and veggies.
Right.
And water. It's real food.
Yeah. I'm benefiting from it too. I've dropped, 10, 12 pounds.
Yeah.
And I have not changed all that much
No.
of what I'm eating, at least in terms
Just
of quantity.
We're not making a whole lot of casseroles anymore.
Exactly. Yes. It's more, as you say, complex
Yeah.
carbohydrates. Sodas are right out.
No, we don't do
more
those
sodas.
at all. It's all water.
Yeah, so that is a huge difference.
I don't even make tea
But
anymore.
as an adult, if we can imagine how we feel with these changes in our bodies as adults, how much more impact would this have on a developing body that is trying to draw on these ultra-processed foods
Yes.
as the building blocks
Yeah.
to grow to adulthood?
You need so many complex, not just amino acids, but you also need trace minerals. There are tons of things you need to consume. Your body can make some things, but it will make those things generally out of pieces left over from stuff you've eaten. So ultimately, you need to eat really good food. And
Yeah.
it's basics like real meat. Don't put a ton of sauce on it. Don't put a ton of salt on it. Don't put any MSG, things like that. Put basic salt and pepper. It's amazing what you can do with salt and pepper. In fact, a lot of people will pay a lot of money to go to an upscale restaurant where all they're doing is just sautéing your chicken breast, maybe putting some onions and peppers on top,
Yeah.
and putting some broccoli on the side.
Yeah. You
And
can do
you'll
that
pay
at home.
$50 for that.
You can do that at home for a lot less,
Lot
and
cheaper.
it'll be a lot healthier.
And also, really, if you switch over to this, you will find you actually save money. So
Yeah. Okay. Well,
now, I want to go out on the
final
other
thing.
story.
Yes.
Got to go out on this story. This story.
Oh yeah. I've got that flagged as well.
Yep.
Well,
What's going on at Area 51?
this was a photo, and you'll see
Speaking
this
of
on your
Plateau.
screen. Yes, on your screen, a picture that was taken of a semi hauling something oversized that appears to have a saucer shape.
Yep, heading
This-
for Area 51 is what it seems like. And because it is way oversized, we're talking hanging out on the sides of the road,
Yeah.
oversized.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of DPS trucks around it. And when the person who took the picture tweeted it, DPS actually responded, Department of Public Safety vehicles. They responded, and it was so funny the way that they responded.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you, and capitalizing the U and the F and the O, unfortunately, we do not know what that is, but it looks interesting. Well, again, you'll see that on your screen, and who knows? Who knows?
I think someone was having a little bit of a laugh with
yeah,
it.
I think so too. I had worked with some companies that were in the business of making giant-sized heat exchangers. Some of these
yeah.
weighed on the order of 200,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Literally required two semis, one at the front end, one at the back end, with a custom-made sling, basically, and a platform in
Yeah.
between the two. So there were things that are out there that will be close to that size, but that shape is sure
I know, it
interesting.
really is.
Yeah.
And for them to respond that way, well, at
was
least they've got
kinda
a sense of
funny.
humor. So there you go.
Well, during the month of March, our gift to you for your gift of support to SkyWatch TV, or $20 or more, is a DVD. I called it a book last week, and I was mistaken.
It's not a book.
It is not a book. A DVD by Alan Sears and Alan Keyes, former ambassador, former candidate for president, called America's Courts, Progress and Peril. As we get into the summer months, there will be a lot of time devoted on the cable news networks to who will replace Justice Antonin Scalia.
Yeah.
That DVD plus a keepsake plaque, our gift to you for your gift of $20 or more during the month of March while supplies last. And we appreciate
And
your
they're going
support.
fast, by the way. So,
Yeah.
and we really, really appreciate. You guys have been helping us so much. And look at all the changes that have taken place since we got here a year ago.
Yeah, oh boy.
All thanks to you guys.
And that includes more television outlets. In fact, two more opportunities for you to see the Nita Horn interview about her book and her memoir, No Fences, tomorrow, Saturday, once at 3:30 in the afternoon, Central Time. That's on the Victory Television Network in Arkansas and the Memphis area. And then tomorrow evening, 7:30 p.m. Central Time, coast to coast on the Christian Television Network. That's on satellite TV, Dish 267, DirecTV 376, Glory Star Satellite Channel 117.
Do you have a little Derek in your brain going through file drawers? And
Yeah, pulling all that stuff out randomly.
Well, don't forget, by the way, we have a Facebook page, SciFriday, so we'd love if you go in and like that, because we want Facebook to know everything you're doing. So
Yeah,
make sure
and
you
besides,
tell them you like us.
we need to keep ahead of the Into the Multiverse with Josh
Yeah,
Peck and
he's way
Christine.
ahead of us.
That's
What's the
right.
deal?
So come on, let's get some more likes here on the Facebook page. And your email, send those to SciFriday@skywatchtv.com.
Yeah.
Until next time, I'm Derek Gilbert for Sharon Gilbert. Thanks for watching. This is SkyWatch TV.
From the time she was little, Nita dreamed of horses. Every childhood fantasy rode on the back of a heroic white steed, coming to save the day.
I don't know how long I've had this love in my heart for horses. It's just always been there. And when we were little girls, my sister and I would play all day long. I was always the white horse and she was always the little pink pig.
Let's pretend Lightning and Rosie can fly.
But everything changed in a heartbeat. On December 9th, 1971, a tragic car accident claimed the life of my dad and my best friend and my little sister. And I wondered after that if there was anything left to believe in.
Move aside, let the ambulance through. Please move aside.
As a child of 13, I felt like I had lost practically everything. And I wondered, is this it? I mean, where do I go from here? I could not have imagined back then how God could use horses, of all things, to restore my faith and vision for the future.
Starting April 19th, get your copy of Nita Horn's inspirational new book, No Fences, and learn for the first time her amazing story of loss, survival, determination, and healing. How the vision and love God gave her for these beautiful and majestic animals eventually led to the 150-acre Whispering Ponies Ranch, a general retreat facility, as well as a premier training location that specializes in using and gifting therapeutic animals to benefit the herding. Other care facilities, schools, and ministries across the nation.
When God puts something in your heart, it's there for a lifetime.